Welcome back to Mount Edgeworth Investigation. We're so close. Can't believe it, sir. Extraterritoriality. Yes. There's nothing we can really do about that. In the end, we didn't have enough authority to bring him to justice. Can't believe that even when we know he's the boss, we can't lay a finger on him. I know. Mr. Prosecutor, sorry to skip on you, but I got some business to take care of. Can't even give an evil guy like him a slap on the wrist. And what the heck are laws created for? What good are they? The law can't help us. I'll go as the Autograss to take care of this myself. Don't you dare. It's Edgeworth. Sorry, that was a bit too harsh. I know how you feel, sir. We're trying to take on an ambassador after all. He did tell us earlier to get out of the theater. This is kind of their country, I guess. But I feel like I've been slapped across the face for just doing my job. What am I going to do? Should I retreat for now? Formulate a better plan of attack? Come on, everyone, we can't give up yet. Okay. Let me think about something for a second. We never let up for even a second. As long as we don't stop investigating. We might find the rotten treasure hidden right here. She's right! Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. You're right, Kay. Very well then, let us reopen the investigation and see what we can find. Come on, Kay. Right behind you. I'll go check out the ball a bit more, sir. I have something I need to investigate further than Alabast. Now then, before I gather any more information, I should do a bit of housekeeping. Don't need that anymore. Ambassador Alba seemed agitated over something. Wonder why? There are two special circumstances that surround the ambassador. First, the embassy itself has extraterritorial rights. Something that happens in Alabastian soil, we're unable to illegally prosecute him. Cool! Sounds like embassy is the perfect place to steal whatever you want. And murder Damas II, run a smuggling operation, and make counterfeit bills, apparently. I thought all the counterfeiting was done by Mr. Coach and Babal. Yes, he apparently used the embassy's coupon printing press to do it. But it's the same story over there anyway. Babal also has extraterritorial rights. Which brings me to my next point. The ambassador's extraterritorial rights. Those rights are effective even in our own country. Really? No matter what happens, he can never be tried in our courts. He retains some very important special rights indeed. Basically, no matter what wrongs he may commit, we can't bring him to trial here. So I guess we don't really have to stand a chance, do we? We might stand a chance if we can somehow nullify either one of his special rights. Let's get information. Well. Oh. This was taken just before the two embassy ambassadors gave the bouquets to the Steel Samurai. Is this my imagination? Or is there something in this picture that I've been seen before? What's that? Something here. Plain has a great smile, don't you think? I bet he's really happy that he's going to become Gaddafi again. Perhaps. But instead, he's become the greatest victim in today's case. An ambassador like him who always thinks of his country is really to be admired. Although this happened, I hope they'll be able to reunite the country someday. I hope so as well. But for that to happen, we need to solve this case first. We need to see to it that those who would come to harm the new Gaddafi are locked away. We will! Can't believe he was pretending to be a harmless old grandpa. Talk about deceptive! I don't suppose anyone expected him to change that drastically. He's thinking something evil behind the cheerful smile. Okay, please try to remain calm and focus on here and now. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I got all worked up there. Well, the only way we're gonna be able to steal the truth is to keep on investigating. There's a troublemaker standing there smack in the center making two peace signs. Steel Samurai stands out even more than with the two ambassadors in the photo. Hey, the person playing Steel Samurai is one of your friends, right? No, I have no idea who he is. Wait, you just said he! You know what gender he was, so you must know him, right? I beg that you please refrain from talking about that person with me ever again. Wait a minute. Here's me a bouquet of Persian cyclamens and roses. Wow! You know the exact species? Never figured you were an expert on flowers. All because of those flowers the old lady sends me every month. Just look at me, I sound like some sort of botanist. So what exactly is the yellow flower here? That one. I'm not sure. What? You don't know? As far as I can recall, I've never seen a flower like this before. But I feel as though I've seen the shape somewhere before. If I recall, it looks like... Nope, wrong one. Nope, those are samurai dogs. Nope, those are just arrows. What else has a shape like that? Nope. It's a counterfeit plate used to make counterfeit Zhangfa bills. It's incredibly detailed, and it even includes a phoenix taking off to the sky. Plates as finely crafted as these, it's no wonder the fakes are so hard to spot. I think they play a role in it, but I'm also... Because that flower is the symbol of Gaddafi. And I just don't want to do it wrong. But there's also... Which one's the clearest one? Oh wait, that is different. Ablaze's national symbol is the butterfly, and Ablaze the flower. It would appear that someone is employing the old hide the tree in a forest trick. Oh. What are you mumbling about yourself? Wait, what? Handling this knife? Ah! It's the handle that was supposed to be of the blade that killed Mr. Cochin. The weapon that killed him was carried through the Theatrum Neutralis, and the very bouquet Ambassador Alba was carrying. So that's how that got across. The flower motif. It looks like one of the flower petals is missing. And look at the weapon itself. It's basically the exact same petal. And the knife in this photo was definitely the same as the murder weapon. Wow. Flowers are set by a variety of people and businesses to celebrate the Goodwill event. Even the Steel Samurai received some flowers from the ambassadors. So many bouquets here, like a wedding ceremony. I believe the flowers are for those are a slightly different reason. What do you mean? They were supposed to have like a wedding between Alabasta and Babal, right? Actually, I believe they're more in a state of divorce. Okay, and it's supposed to be their remarriage ceremony. Huh. I suppose you could call it that. Well. Let's see what else I can investigate. Hello, welcome to the Embassy of Babal. Oh, sorry, but I don't really need to enter your country at this time. Right now, for a limited time, here at Babalese Embassy, we're offering the very special experience, the terrifying Fire Action Store. How about it? Shall I sign you up? We're fine, thank you. Investigation to run. Already trying to marketize it. Jeez. You know how much else to investigate doing. On the orders of Ambassador Alba, no one's allowed into Belfast. I thought the lady of the whip passed through not too long ago. She's from Interpol and has the proper paperwork. So while I was reluctant, I had to let her in. Sounds like Francisca's alright. Besides, if I didn't, that whip of hers... Yep, definitely Francisca. Ablaze energy renovations. Let's just check if these are related. No. That's fine. But what if these are linked? We know the counterfeit bills are printed using the embassy's press, but the necessary materials such as the Ablaze ink and paper must have been hidden in a secure location. But what do you think would have happened if the renovation had begun? Well, he probably had to find a better hiding spot and get rid of them all. Right, so we can assume that the renovations were the cause of the plate and bill's disposal, and the reason Mr. Cochin was killed as the ringleader of the smuggling operation. Based on what we know, who do you think is the one most to gain? Alba. It's the one person who's been erasing all evidence of the smuggling operation from both embassies, with the co-conspirators who've been mopping up Ambassador Alba. Ambassador Alba had a very strong motive to kill Manny Cochin. The cause of Ambassador Alba's agitation, the rotten treasure we may find, and the motive for killing Mr. Cochin. Miss Yu said it herself that she didn't kill anyone tonight. If we were to take her words at face value, then the reason for the Ambassador's nervousness can only be one thing. He didn't want us to discover the real circumstances under which Mr. Cochin was killed. You mean Ambassador Alba is the real killer? But I thought the two of them were friends. Maybe they were, but what if Mr. Cochin was the one who first betrayed their friendship? Oh, I get it. Wasn't Mr. Cochin pushing really hard for Mr. Paleno? To be ambassador after the reunification? Yes, and that was the real reason why he wanted to steal Alba's Primedu statue. So Mr. Cochin hired Dumas II to go steal it for him. But when Ambassador Alba found out what he was up to, he killed Mr. Cochin? There's definitely a possibility at this point. The two really were thinking of no one but themselves. The question is, how did he do it? Ambassador Alba was in Alabast, but Mr. Cochin's body was discovered in Babal, right? Right, and that's how we must solve next. I believe we now understand why Ambassador Alba was so nervous and agitated. It must have something to do with where Mr. Cochin was killed. A place where the Alabastian ambassador was likely to meet the Babalese Mr. Cochin. The place where Ambassador Alba happened to have committed the murder was the Babal. Take that! That's suspicious, don't you think? Anything so? I don't see anything odd about it at all. Okay. Well, technically, if he's getting nervous about it, Babal can still be walked away once it becomes Gaddafi. But if it's the Theatrum Neutralis, the only place that makes sense is here, the Theatrum Neutralis. What? Here? The Goodwill event is being held here today, correct? And the only place that both of them would have been in is here. But if that's the case, everything changes. The theater is actually Alabastian land. If that wipes out one of those extraterritorial rights he has, it makes logical sense, in which case, it is a reason for us to investigate further. So what should we check out? Let's see. I believe we should check the immigration records for both Alabast and Babal post-haste. Babal's records should be easy to obtain, however the problem will be Alabast. I wonder if they'll allow us to see the records despite the orders to vacate.
Objection!
I'm already one step ahead of you, Miles Edgeworth. Francisca. I have here the security footage from both Alabast and Babal. You'd do well to look at its contents. Okay. You move fast. Avon Karma strives to be perfect in every way. It's not my nature to keep on retreating like this. I took the liberty of looking over the Babal's investigation reports as well. From now on, you will make no excuse to back down or say we can't solve this case. Sorry about earlier. Well, we won't be beaten. Because my cute little subordinate is going to try his very best, isn't he? Hasn't she patronized me enough already for a lifetime? So this video contains footage of Alabast's immigration screening area. I really hope there's something in there we can use. What? Alba? Going through? Never mind. What is that lump? What's this? Doesn't something of this lump shape strike you as odd? Huh? Is this supposed to be this shape? No, there's clearly something odd about the bulge. If only we had a pushcart itself, it could apparently confirm my hunch. Next, let's check the footage from Babal's security camera. We'll show something good. Ooh, there wasn't a single sign of a suspicious person or anything. That, right there, is a contradiction. Huh? Did I miss something? You didn't miss anything. Because there was nothing to miss. However, what is missing is the image of Mr. Koshin entering his own country. Was his body found in Babal? It would appear the true face of our final puzzle has finally revealed itself. Oh. Master Alba! I thought I'd ask you and your group to vacate the premises, Mr. Edgeworth. Actually, I thought I should let you know that this theater sits on my country's soil. You've had your fun. I've enjoyed your little game. I dare say that you even achieved a new high score. However, once you've recorded a score, that same game can never be replayed again. You understand what I'm saying to you? Your game is done, and it's game over. No. Objection! Where do you think you're going at this time of night? After admitting to my crime, I was overcome with regret. So I'm heading to the airport now to return home. I'm afraid I can't let you do that. There's still too many issues we need to discuss with you. You can't stop me, Mr. Edgeworth, and you know it. Ah. Please, may I have a little bit of your time, Ambassador Alba? Ambassador Polino. Even just a teeny, tiny bit is fine with me. The already strained relationship between our countries is in a precarious situation, you know. Very well. If you insist, I will play just one more round with them and see what they want. Not that they'll get any farther. Ambassador Polino, Mr. Edgeworth. All I wish was the normalization of relationships between our two countries. There's one person standing in the way of that dream. I believe in you. You'll do what's right. Thank you for your vote of confidence. Now then, what is it you wanted to ask me about? I do have a flight to catch, after all. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to limit you to just one question. That's more than enough, because I have only one question anyway. I want to hear your alibi, and how you couldn't have killed Mr. Manny Kochin. Ho ho! I see. You seem to have a good hand this time around. This should be fun. This really is the very last chance I have to bring them down. Don't allow a single atom-sized contradiction slip by. Frankly, I still don't understand why I'm being placed under suspicion here. Under your hypothetical scenario, Mr. Kochin and I were fellow smugglers. But to get to that point, I was in Alabasta the whole time. So it's simply not possible for me to have killed him in Babal. That is my alibi. So that is your alibi? It is correct. It's simply not possible for me to have committed a crime in Babal. Now that we've cleared that up, I'd appreciate if you would move out of my way.
Hold it!
I said hold it! What is it this time? I thought I told you I'd allow one question. You did, but you still have yet to really answer my one question. What? Until you tell us the truth, I refuse to budge an inch from where I'm standing. Very well. I'll play with you just a little longer. Miles Edgeworth, as my subordinate and representative of this country's prosecutors. You are forbidden to lose. Of course, that's something I've understood from the start. The guy's the one who ordered my father killed, isn't he? Yes, I believe so. The goal of the first Yatagrasu was the capture of the smuggling ring's leader. My father and Uncle Bad, their legacy will live on through me. So we just gotta catch him, okay? We will, I promise. Now, Ambassador Alba, let's have the truth now, shall we? No matter how many times you ask, my answer remains the same. Frankly, I still don't understand why I'm being placed under suspicion here.
Hold it!
Being the leader of the smuggling ring while taking on the duties of ambassadorship. Don't you think that the combination is more than enough reason for suspicion? Then there is more the matter of the crossbow arrows and the primitive statues. All of that is nothing more than your flights of fancy. What do you mean by that? Under your hypothetical scenario, Mr. Coach and I were fellow smugglers.
Hold it!
It's not a hypothesis! Earlier we proved it would be what happened. Well, let's leave that to one side for now. Because it doesn't change the fact that I have no motive. Oh! So you really had no motive to kill Mr. Cochin? If you want to suppose I had one, then why not? I'll indulge you. After all, this is nothing more than a silly game to me. Even if that's how you see things, I'd appreciate it if you take me more seriously. I'm sorry. I suppose you are in a bit of a pickle. Very well. A game is no fun if the playing field isn't level. Therefore, I formally claim that I have no motive to kill. Well, let's see how you disprove it. You stand there looking proud that he knows he killed another human being. Well, I'm not going to stand by and watch him get away with his crimes. In that case, what motive would I have to kill my co-conspirator?
Hold it!
Are you serious? That's just because you were partners, you had no motive to kill? I'm only following your hypothetical scenario to its logical conclusion. Looks like he's just not going to admit to himself that he was in leagues with Mr. Cochin. I suppose not. But I do know his relation to the smuggling ring, and to Mr. Cochin. I mean, he's the ringleader that Mr. Cochin was his subordinate, right? Correct, but I know more than just that. Miss Von Karma, I'm sure you remember the safe in Mr. Cochin's office, correct? Yes. That safe had 2 compartments in it, didn't it? Yes, and what do you think the stolen goods were being stored in Mr. Cochin's office? Could it be because he was trying to cheat Ambassador Alba behind his back? So Mr. Cochin didn't turn the goods over, decided instead to keep them for himself? I suppose that's possible. It seems to me that both men were only concerned about their own wealth and well-being. That means that maybe they didn't have a trusting relationship after all. What Ambassador Alba had to gain... I believe that is his motive for killing Mr. Cochin. What are you people whispering amongst yourselves over there? I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Now then, let's continue with your testimony. But to get to the point, I was in Alabasta the whole time. Well, as for motive... This is a motive.
Objection!
If you want to know, I believe you did have a motive to kill. It was because Mr. Cochin had betrayed you. But you had your own reasons, too. Namely, you wanted to pin the smuggling all on him. Evil begets evil, and because you were trying to test each other, you turned into a mess. I don't believe this. You have a bad penchant for telling tall tales, Mr. Prosecutor. And if you're not, then I suppose you have some proof to support your argument. I never used guesswork in moving my cases forward. It has been proven that this note was written by Mr. Coton's hand. Shall we take a look at it? The content of this note is a request calling for the theft of Alabast's prime new statue. By killing him and pushing all the guilt on the smuggling onto him, you walk away spotless. I believe you understand what I'm driving at. You had more than a few reasons to kill him. Are you finished with your hypothesizing? Excuse me? Let me suppose I did have a motive. Even so, a motive on a thought alone cannot kill. Isn't that right? I didn't expect him to resort to playing a semantics game with me. It appears that this is where the real battle will begin. Now then, if you will excuse me. Wait, what? I told you at the very beginning, didn't I? You only get one question! Ambassador Alba, if you could please give us just a little more of your time. It doesn't matter what kind of man Manny was, he was my subordinate. Which is why I would like for us to figure out the real case of his death. That is something for Babal to figure out, and for something that I have no relation to. Ah! Now he's even turning down the request of Ambassador Paleno. I'm very sorry, but it seems that now even my voice falls on deaf ears. There's no need for you to apologize to Ambassador Paleno. We'll find some way to stop him from leaving. It seems there are no further objections. In that case, please allow me to return home. Hold it! Hold it right there, Ambassador Alba! Kay! Like I said, Mr. Edgeworth, Yatagrasu's legacy will live on through me! Yes, but how do you suggest we stop him from leaving? You just leave that to me! Ambassador Alba, do you recognize this? No, and why should I recognize that tattered old organizer? Wait, where have I seen that before? Is the clue my father, Burn Faraday, left for us? Did you say Burn Faraday? Mr. Faraday's organizer. Don't tell me this is the one from the second KG8 incident. The one in which he wrote about the Yatagrasu's key? Yes, the organizer belonged to the prosecutor you had Miss You killed 7 years ago. I have no idea what you're talking about. You say that like it was related to me. Inside this organizer, he wrote up every detail of every evil thing you did. What an amusing little girl you are. But that sort of trickery won't work on me. You won't believe me, then take a look at this. And what is that toy there? That's... Thievery device that was used by the Yatagarasu, or rather by my father. 7 years ago, he used this when he snuck into this embassy. What? These two pieces of evidence that hold information the Yatagarasu dug up on you? If you go home now, I won't hesitate to send all the Alabast right behind you. Little girl, get to the point! I want you to go up against Mr. Edgeworth one more time. If you win, then I'll hand over these two pieces of evidence. Yatagarasu, even the thorn in my side. Okay, does that organizer really contain any information of his dirty dealings? There's nothing case-breaking, really. Then it was just a bluff. Even if it was, we still can't leave all the info my father and Uncle Bad found go to waste. It's just the existence of Little Thief is troublesome enough for him. Those two pieces. Aren't they keepsakes of your father? It's okay. I believe in Mr. Edgeworth. We'll come out on top in the end. Okay. When the going gets tough, someone's gotta be there to put the wind back in your sails. After all this time, you're still quite the feisty one. I applaud your powerful nature. I refuse to lose this too. Ambassador Alba, you won't be returning home until you give us further testimony. How dare you all, barring a person like me. Ambassador Alba, your testimony, if you please. Alright. This is the absolute last. Then, even if you use all the powers of Ambassador Pelena's office, you won't stop me. I can't let this opportunity Kay's created for me go to waste. The last time I met with Mr. Kochin was here, the Theatrum Neutralis. After that, I was at Alabasta the rest of the time, as I stated earlier. In any case, I did not see Mr. Kochin again after that. As you can see, there was no time span in which I could have killed him. Wouldn't you agree? Now, since you people are practically begging, I'll allow you to question me. What an arrogant old man! Yes, but no matter, we can't allow this chance to escape us. I will warn you though, you've reached the end of my patience. Waste my time with inane questions and you will be punished. That's double the penalty. Any needless pressing or presenting will cost more to our case. In that case, the only thing we can do is present the correct evidence. Understood? Of course. I intend to let him intimidate me. And Mr. Kochin was killed before he returned to Babal. In which case, there's only one statement to which I need to present the evidence. Last time I met with Mr. Kochin was here, the Theatrum Neutralis. After that, I was in Alabasta for the rest of the time, as I stated earlier. In the case, I did not see Mr. Kochin again after that. So you see, there's no time and span I could have killed him. Wouldn't you agree? Well, you left behind this. I'd like you to take a look at this picture. It's a rather nice picture, isn't it? It was to commemorate the restoration of relations between our nations. Oh, it's commemorative, alright. One that captures the proof I need to show that it was you who committed the murder. Come again. This is the knife that killed Mr. Kochin. I see you recognize it, as well you should, for it was you who brought it through this theater. You hid it in here, among the flowers you were to give the Steel Samurai. Meaning that you killed Mr. Kochin here at the theater! It's time for me to catch my flight. Objection! We're not through yet! Objection! Objection! It's game over for you, Mr. Edgeworth. But I thank you for the entertainment. No matter how passionately you orate, the end result will still be the same. I won't be returning to this country ever again. That's right. This man is an ambassador, and he has extraterritorial rights. No matter how hard we chase after him, it won't be able to have him tried in court. That's exactly the face you should be making. The face of a worthless cur. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, I must bid you farewell. The courts! Is there no one who can lay a finger on this man? Is it really the end? Not so fast! Agent Lang! Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Prosecutor. Get out of my way. My plane is scheduled to take off soon. Sorry, but you're not going anywhere, Mr. Alba. I'm through playing games with you people. You can't touch me. If you do, it would spark an international incident, Agent Lang. Sorry, but no, it wouldn't. What? Mr. Prosecutor, good job holding the fort down until I got back. So, Mr. Alba, your diplomatic immunity has just been revoked. What do you mean, revoked? Spare me the nonsense. Let me through. Not so fast. Longzi says, before aiming for the throat, chew the neck shield off first. Interpol headquarters in the Imperial household of the Kingdom of Alabast. Took a while to get things rolling, but they finally moved on it. The Imperial household? You! What have you done? You've been relieved of your duties as ambassador, Mr. Alba! What? What? Effective today, effective right now. And you have Mr. Prosecutor's videotape to thank for this. The video you took are also protected. You can't be arrested simply because you're an ambassador. In that case, I thought I'd strip you of that title. You underestimated me, a descendant of the founder of detainment philosophy Long Z. For 1,000 years of deeply entrenched connections with networks around the world. Really paid off! It can't be! I don't believe this! My ambassadorship has been revoked! Looks like I'm finally coming to grips with your new standing. Woohoo! Looks like he's turned docile again. He's probably in shock from the looks of his shield. What a shame. I so wanted to use my whip on him. Why is this happening to me? I'm just a hard-working, honest ambassador. Do you really think you can still pull that on us now? We've already ripped away the mask and seen you for who you really are, Mr. Alba. Objection! No, I won't be stopped now. He still intends to fight us? So what if I'm no longer an ambassador? You still don't have any evidence on me. The fact remains that you cannot arrest me. I don't expect no less from you, the boss of the smuggling ring. Well, the rest is up to you, Mr. Prosecutor. Understood. You say that I killed Mr. Cochin in the theater. But even if that is true, that there was a knife in my bouquet, I left that bouquet in the theater. So anyone could have taken it out of there and used it, right? Besides, the claim that he was killed here itself is odd. After all, wasn't his body discovered in Babal? Are you claiming that I carried his body all the way over there? Preposterous! I'll be the one to prove whether it's preposterous or not. Ex-Ambassador Alba, are you ready? Because this is no game. This is war. I killed Mr. Cochin in this theater using a knife that was stuck in my bouquet. I left that bouquet in the theater. Anyone could have taken the knife from there. Besides, Mr. Cochin's body was discovered in Babal, right? There is no way for me to have transported his body to the theater to Babal. Look, don't you think you've had enough fun with me? You've already stolen my ambassadorship from me. Would you have me surrender too? You have no plans to ever return to this country, isn't that right? Did you know that a bunch of your subordinates are seeking asylum because of you? As if I care. Mr. Prosecutor, boot this guy out of the embassy. You'll finally end everything. I know, and I will give it all my all to see that he leaves in handcuffs. Without the title of ambassador, he's just another witness. Yes, just another witness. What are we waiting for? Let's get this guy. Let's get him good. I wonder if they understand that all I can do is present evidence to that testimony. I can't actually assault. Let's begin. I killed Mr. Cochin in this theater using a knife that was stuck to my bouquet. I left that bouquet in the theater. Anyone could have taken the knife from there. Besides, Mr. Cochin's body was discovered in Babal, right? There was no way for me to have transported his body to the theater but to Babal. Actually, interesting concept. Let's discuss. Actually, I do believe there was a way to transport the body out of the theater. Perhaps you should give this a look. What is that supposed to be? It's footage from a security camera that captured the state of the immigration area. Should I congratulate you for getting your hands on it? Just letting you know that you're not the only ones watching your every movements. Thank you for the warning. Now, if you could take a good look at this section here. This lump here inside the pushcart. Do you know what's causing it? Should I? Because I don't. In that case, allow me to enlighten you. This is the cause of the unnatural lump under the cloth of the pushcart. Mr. Coach's body. Oh, what is this meaning? You're showing me that. It is to say that the natural bulge in the pushcart is Mr. Cochin's body. You had the Steel Samurai wheel his body away from the real crime scene. What a guess. But I wonder, do you have any evidence to support it? I admit that for now it is but a hypothesis. However, if you can't prove it, then I'm afraid I must be on my way. I don't have any more time to play with you people. Hold it! Sorry it took so long, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Gummy? Detective Gumshoe, is that the Steel Samurai's pushcart? Yes, sir. Found in the open-air stage area. So that's where you went. Detective Spear that Pops left with me. I thought I'd follow my gut and go with it, sir. So, Mr. Edgeworth, is there anything worth this case? Yes. It just might play a major role in solving this case, Detective. But something isn't right. I thought that the entire samurai family was in Ablaze. Where exactly is the open-air stadium, the stage area, did you find this pushcart? I've had just lying there at the edge of the stage, sir. Oh. Well, let's leave that for now and examine the inside, Detective. Yes, sir. Oh, look what we have here. It's blood. This must be Mr. Cochin's blood. Which only goes to prove that Mr. Cochin's body was indeed transported by this pushcart. I believe you understand what this means, correct? You killed Mr. Cochin at this theater, and then placed his body inside the pushcart. And then, you forced the Steel Samurai to unwittingly move the body for you. I forced him to move the body into Ablaze. What nonsense! Why would I bother doing such a thing? You were scheduled to make a speech in Ablaze, meaning that it was difficult for you to make a stop in Babal. However, what if you moved the body to Ablaze? Because it was your embassy, you could keep an eye on it and tamper with the evidence. And then you smuggled it out of Ablaze. No! I can show you how you moved the body to Ablaze to Babal, then I win. But you can't. The security between the two countries is incredibly tight. I'll be the one to judge whether I can or cannot prove it. And so I ask you to provide this with testimony regarding the movements after you return to Ablaze. Miles Edgeworth, have you figured it out? Do you know how the body was moved? To be honest, I have nothing to support my hypothesis at this time. However, I don't believe I've made a mistake in my logic up to this point. Which means, there is no question that can be answered, right? The Primedu statue was smuggled successfully through the brief flight through the air. So why shouldn't there be an answer as to how the body was moved? Which means that there must be a logical flaw somewhere I can exploit. After I returned to Ablaze, I had my picture taken with a Steel Samurai, shaking hands. Then, just as I was about to start my speech, the Yatagarasu appeared. I feared for the national treasures, so I raced back to my office. Is that all? Yes, that's all.
Objection!
It looks like you left out a few things. Such as the murder of Damas II. Furthermore, you left out the part about the meeting with me in your office! Ah, those trifling matters. I don't believe I need to speak of those things again. I do so hate wasting time. What?! You! Is not every life precious? Do you really need me to answer that for you? People like you cannot be allowed to wander freely through society. Then you'd better try hard, because I doubt you'll find a single contradiction. He's really full of himself, isn't he? Yes, he is. How can he be so confident at a time like this? Come, don't be shy. Go on and ask whatever you'd like. I guess I'm allowed to press him then. After I returned to Ablaze, I had my picture taken with the Steel Samurai shaking hands.
Hold it.
So why was it only the Steel Samurai? I thought the Pink Princess was also around. The Pink Princess was suffering from a bad hip at the time, and the doctors recommended that she rest. Wow, so you do have a soft spot side after all. The pain of a bad hip. I suppose none of you can really understand how it feels. Oh, so you tend to strain your back as well, huh? Isn't that just because you're normally all hunched over? He did need to keep up the act no matter what, I suppose. The point of this is not to discuss my back problems. For about 15 minutes after a handshake, I was in my office preparing for the speech. Then, just as I was about to start my speech, the Yatagarasu appeared.
Hold it.
The Yatagarasu was just a trick that you had set up. A most amusing joke, but I do propose that I set it up. You really want to know? I can explain it in detail for you. You arranged the spotlights in the rose garden so that when you were to take the stage, the audience would see the Yatagarasu's shadow. Oh, that's an interesting tale. Sadly, it has nothing to do with me. You! What is it going to take for you to fess up at everything? Very well then, let's move to a different question. After the Yatagarasu appeared, what was the state of the rose garden? Everyone took refuge inside the embassy. I even helped with the efforts. And then, once everyone was inside, well, I feared for the national treasure, so I raced back to my office.
Hold it.
And what happened after you returned to your office? I don't want to keep on repeating this. However, upon my return, I had a stroke of bad luck and bumped into Mask Man.
Objection!
And I don't want to keep on repeating this either. But his name is the Mask II. Who cares what he was called? At the time I got to the primitive statue that he was supposed to steal, not even swapped for the fake. Talk about an unlucky man. Being bludgeoned to death with a fake statue. Miss Von Karman's really letting her whip fly now. Ah! I think the scary part is her science while she's doing it. She must be at a limit of her patience as well. But physical attacks are meaningless here. Only evidence will suffice. I can't find a single flaw in his argument. At this rate, I won't be able to prove that he is actually guilty of anything. Have we finished here? Miles Edgeworth, can you not come up with how that body was moved to Ablaze? Sir. It's Edgeworth. Ugh. Even after proving so much, is he going to get away with it? Is this the end? Hold it! It appears that we made just in time. It would be a great honor if you would allow us to be your allies in battle. Evil Magistrate, it's time for you to pay. It's the Steel Samurai! You're mistaken, for I am Steel Samurai Daddy, married man of Neo Tokyo! And this is Pink Princess Mommy. Poo! Ah! The two people that I wanted to see the least. Harry! What are you two doing here? Way to show your gratitude, Edgy. I just wanted to help, yeesh. Look at the bad guy with a single thrust of a samurai spear. Go away! You're being so mean! All three of us came to lend a hand if this is how you treat us. Well, isn't this grand? I see they managed to find the Iron Infant. Does that really matter right now? Hey! It's just me, was the Iron Infant completely soaked? Huh? Oh yeah. I ran him up a ball, but he was in the middle of the pool. Wait a second! Larry, go back to what you just said. Huh? Oh, it appears that we made it. Not that far back! Something about finding the Iron Infant in Babal. He found it in the pool? I don't recall there being one in Babal. Oh, that! Well, I was in Alabasta the whole time. So I have no idea how the Iron Infant wound up in Babal. I thought I lost him in the Rose Garden. I guess maybe this cute kid can swim, huh? Wait, what? Larry, you lost the Iron Infant in the Rose Garden? Are you sure about that? Yeah, I'm sure. But I found him in...
Hold it.
That's enough, Larry! The Iron Infant that Larry lost managed to be moved between the two countries. Furthermore, the Iron Infant was found soaked in the middle of the pool? This is what I've been looking for. It's another smuggling route between the countries. The key to this route the Iron Infant took to travel to Alabasta Babal is... bilateral symmetry. That's right. This embassy was built in bilateral symmetry in mind. Detective Gumshoe! Yes, sir. There's a location I wish for you to examine post-haste. It is where I believe the route used to smuggle Mr. Coach's body lies. Does that mean something like that really exists, sir? Embassy built on bilateral symmetry. Meaning that this is where they need to examine. Here.
Take that.
Yes, sir! I'll be back before you know it. It's too late. No matter what you do, it is all a waste of time. You will stay here with us and wait. This is Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth! It's here, sir! There's a reservoir here, just like the Rose Garden. Just as I suspected. What is it? The two sides of Embassy are mirror images of each other, which means that there is also a pool at the corresponding location to Bubbly's side. Mr. Cochin was moved into Babal through the pool in Alabast. Avoiding the topic with a vague answer like that is unbecoming of a prosecutor. If you don't mind, I'd like to see more physical proof, if you have any. The Iron Infant is positively soaked in water. Why do you think that is? It's because he was fished out of the pool, and not just any pool. It was the Ablaze one. I think it's pretty obvious at this point. That must be true. The water reservoirs in the two courtyards are connected. And where is your proof that the two sides are connected? The proof is right there, before your eyes. The half-drowned Iron Infant! This blasted doll! Edgeworth, I'm back! Hey. Don't tell me. You guys figured everything out without me? We did, thanks to this hero of justice's son. Even if it's just a doll, he managed to help foil the villain. Mr. Prosecutor, look, I don't want to say this, but it's kind of unlikely that the body just happened to pass on through the Babal. This guy's a doll and he's small, so I believe he'd make it, but he has a point. Yes, that's right. I'm glad someone here understands. Miss Edgeworth, are you going to next propose that a dead body can swim through a pipe? You see, Mr. Prosecutor, our chase after this man is far from over. Agent Lang. Why is he helping Mr. Alba now? He's not. He realized the flaw in my argument and is helping me move the logic along. In which case, I should return the favor and find an answer. Another thing. His coach's body was found in his office in Babal. So what happened to his body after it was transported to the open-air stage? Mr. Alba had an accomplice in Babal, remember? You mean Sheena, right? With her there, you can see how it's possible to move the body up to the office. Are you seriously claiming that she swam through the connecting pipe with that body? He's right! Miss Sheena would have drowned if she did that. It's hard to imagine that she swam through the connecting pipe. It looks like your hypothesis about how the body was moved is still only half-baked. In the end, it's all just the befuddled musings of an accusatory man. Now then, I believe you should give up and allow me to passage. Because at the start, there was no feasible method of transporting the body. What? Prosecutor, recall Sheena's movements. What was happening in the embassy around the time Miss Sheena was in Babal? There was only a way to get rid of the water in the pool. Get rid of the water. That's it! I believe this time we really are done right. Objection! Unfortunately for you, it's far from over, Mr. Alba. You're a most persistent man. Are you saying that you've thought of a way to move the body through the water? Move the body through the water? That's completely unrelated to how it was done. Excuse me. The reason I say this is because there wasn't any water there at the time. What do you mean, there wasn't any water? Just like I said. Tonight's events made it possible to drain the water and the body to be moved. After all, the pools refill.
Take that!
What is the meaning of this? What's it supposed to prove? Yes, what is this supposed to be, Detective Gumshoe? Huh? Me? I don't know what it is, sir. Mr. Edgeworth, that question was directed at you. It appeared that I presented the wrong piece of evidence. I jumped the gun. It would seem you didn't hear me just now, so let's try it again, shall we? Alright, I'll prove to you with this evidence. Alright. That is how. However, there was a fire. 2. Tonight, Yatagrasu set fire to a variety of locations in the Baoulese embassy. In order to put out the fires, much of the reservoir's water was used. Of course, when the water is used, the reservoir's water level went down. If enough water was drained, the connecting pipe could be used to traverse the border. Ugh. So what now? The water level went down, the reservoirs are connected. Does any of this matter? You can't prove any of this. Pretending to be ignorant won't work with me. We both know what kind of situation we're in right now. Even in a game, there comes a critical game-changing moment. A moment in which you hit a wall that you must overcome in order to beat the game. I haven't lost yet. I've found the route you used to smuggle the body, and that route will lead to your defeat. Even if all the water is used by the firefighting effort, you still can't really call it a smuggling route. I know that. I should have figured that you would notice. Mr. Alba, how deep are these pools anyway? All of you know the pools are extremely deep. And there are no ladders or footholds along the walls either. It'd be difficult for Sheena to hold the body and climb out of the pool. Ladders or footholds along the walls? There was no need for such thing. What do you mean? If one were to use a certain something, they could go up and down the pool at will. Looks like you got an answer already. What are you waiting for, Mr. Prosecutor? Enlighten us already. The way in which Miss Sheena and the body were able to rise up to ground level. If there were a way to control the water level, there could be a way the body was moved. This was used so that the body and Miss Sheena could move up and down the pool.
Take that!
The fountain spouts. Mr. Alba used the fountain spouts, in a manner of speaking. Use the fountain spouts? How so? The water level in the pools could be controlled by opening and closing the spouts. Miss Sheena and the body were lifted upward by the buoyancy in water. The fire on the Baoulese side and the fighting effort. These were set in motion all for the sake of smuggling Mr. Coach's body. Ugh. Shall I show you where the final destination of my train of logic leads? Mr. Alba closed the fountain spouts in advance in preparation of things to come. Then he took the push cart that was brought to the rose garden and pushed it along with the iron infant and Mr. Coachen's body into the pool. At this time, Miss Sheena was busy conveniently starting the first fire in Babal. She would then make for the open-air stage pool and wait for the firefighting effort to begin. When the firefighters used the water in the pool, the water level went down. And by the time the fire was put out, the pipe between the two poles was exposed. This was when she pushed the push cart from Alabasta into Babal. Once it was accomplished, Mr. Alba simply opened the fountain spouts once more. And the water level rose up to the original level, along with Miss Sheena and the body. After that, Miss Sheena used the pushcart to carry the body up to the Secretariat's office. There was an elevator in the embassy after all, so you see, even with her small frame, she could easily transport Mr. Kojen's body. And that wraps up my thorough explanation of how the body was moved. Well, ex-Ambassador Alba, what do you think? Not so untouchable without your precious extraterritorial rights to protect you, are you? Yeah, you can do it, Mr. Edgeworth. Way to fight back. You accuse me of moving the body across country lines, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty, you don't have what it takes to indict me. What the nitty-gritty? What does the old man want now? Proof, I believe, is what he seeks. Yes, proof. Without any, who is to say whether or not any of what you said really happened? He wants proof? What are we gonna do, Mr. Edgeworth? There's no need to worry. I've got all the proof we need all along. The body wasn't the only thing to go through the pools connecting the pipe tonight. Just as Detective Gumshoe found the pushcart in the open-air stage area, so too did I find one other item there. That piece of evidence is what will prove the pools were the smuggling route. There's another thing that was smuggled over Babal's open-air stage, which I have no idea what it was used for until now.
Take that!
And what exactly is this? You have no idea, do you? This little piece that I found of Bubbly's side will be your undoing. A guitar pick. Would you care to explain how that is going to do me in, as you were? Much to your chagrin, perhaps, but this is not a guitar pick. What? This is something I found at the open-air stage, which was transported with the body. I naturally assumed that you would recognize it, since you took a photo with it, after all. But since you don't, allow me to fill you in on what I found the stage actually belongs to. Well, since he doesn't remember. Not this. I was about to say, oh, it's the Jammin' Ninjas thing, but I'm like, oh wait, no. I'm talking about this.
Take that!
I'm like, oh yeah, that's what that looks from. Let's take a good look at the murder weapon that was used to kill Manny Kochin. On the handle of this knife, there's a beautifully blooming flower. However, it would appear that it's missing a single petal. Now let's look at what happens when I try to fit this pick to an open slot. Perfect fit! I assume that the petal must have fallen off of the flower during Mr. Kochin's murder. And it was accidentally placed in the pushcart along with Mr. Kochin's body.
Objection!
That's interesting story, nothing more.
Objection!
Oh, I assure you it's more than just a story. Because for some odd reason, this flower petal was wet when I found it. It was wet, you say? Yes, and the only place it could have gotten wet is from the open-air stage pool! Now I ask you, how did a piece of the weapon, which was smuggled into the theater, wind up in an open-air stage area in the Bobbly side of the embassy? I don't think I need to waste any words explaining this, as this petal explains it all for me. It proves that something went through the Rose Garden pool and on through Babal. Impossible! People in Zeng Fa have been waiting to see you face to face, Mr. Alba. I'll delay one back home while they're still soon. You'll be there soon. You should be happy. Why? Why? It's a little late to be asking that question. You should have known from the very beginning. When you took your first life. No matter how you may plot, or how you may try to cover it all up, you can never hide from your crime and what you've done. Because we're here to see that justice is served to people like you.
Objection!
You can't call what you've done a perfect argument. You know, I don't think this guy is going to ever admit to his wrongdoing, Mr. Edgeworth. Because he values himself above all else. People who can't be negotiated with are people who refuse to admit that they've lost. I don't believe these kind of people really exist because everyone breaks eventually. You're right. In that case, I have no choice but to use all the evidence I have. I use it all until he breaks under the weight of his crimes. I'll be requesting you testify once more. It really will be the end of the line. He's backed into a corner, so we can't move any further. Miles Edgeworth Investigations. See you next time.